This is a big question. Are you ready for change? And this is really interesting because you can actually go into this in a lot of detail. There are certain prerequisites that have to be in place but in order for you to change and in order for you to see progress and your end result. So first of all, change must be self-initiated. You will only change behavior if you want to. So you can't have somebody else come up to you and say, you've got to go out and plan your meals, you've got to go out and work out. Everything has to start with you. It cannot be change must be self-initiated and not initiated by another person. The old behavior, whatever it may be, must not be a part of your coping strategies. So you'll have various sources of comfort and will resist to change these behaviors. Let's take smoking, for example. If you wanted to stop smoking, you can't have smoking as a coping mechanism. So you may think to yourself, I've stopped smoking, I don't smoke often, I only smoke once a month now. That is still a coping strategy. Essentially, you must use a different behavior to overcome the temptation to smoke. So find something similar to smoking and use that as a coping strategy rather than smoking itself. Social support should be available. The support of your family and friends can be a powerful factor in helping you change behavior and to maintain the changes you make. This is because the presence and interest of other people when you're changing behavior helps to keep the behavior salient and provide support during what can be a stressful time. And I talk about this a lot, building a community around you and building a support system that will help you stay on track, keep you there long term. That is the key to long-term success. We're not looking at this as a 2-week process, 4-week process. It's going to be long-term over months and hopefully years. Your life should not be problematic or uncertain. This is a big one. So it's important to acknowledge that you have a limited capacity to change. So expecting yourself to make changes in your behavior may be unrealistic if your life is problematic. For example, it is likely to be very difficult for you to quit smoking if you are going through a particular stressful time in your life. So you have to look at the bigger picture. If you are going through stressful times with family, stressful times with relationships, that has to be looked at as well, because your attention will be split. Your attention will probably be split 70-30 towards the bigger problem, which will be problems with your family, could be problems with relationships, whatever it is. And you won't have room to look at this process, what we're doing right now, and achieving the result that you want to see. So your life, whatever problems you have, whether they are big or small, outside of fitness, outside of health, have to be solved or at least looked at. And these are the prerequisites that you simply need. You need those four in order to see long-term change. These are the stages of change which you will go through. And yeah, I'm not too sure where exactly you will be on this scale, but you will be at some stage right now. And the whole idea is to move through this model towards the last stage, which is maintenance. But let's go through it very quickly. Pre-contemplation, the very first stage. You are not seriously considering the possibility of change. This may be due to a number of reasons. For example, you are unaware of an existing problem. And if you are unaware of this problem, you have no reason to change or no reason to want to change. And I doubt anybody watching this video is in the pre-contemplation stage. Contemplation is where you do not actually change behavior, but you are aware of the existence of a problem and just seriously thinking about the possibility of change. So there you go, second stage, you are now thinking about the possibility of change. Preparation, you have made a commitment to change. Perhaps you introduced more walking into your lifestyle, but not enough to meet the current recommendations and what you should be doing. So you're starting to work towards those recommendations and those guidelines, but you're not quite there yet. You're on your way. Action is where you actually start making solid changes in your behavior. You should bear in mind that people often have unrealistic expectations of success, and at the first sign of failure, may get discouraged and give up. Action is actually a pretty dangerous stage to be in. Ideally, we want to move on very quickly to maintenance, but things will be going well. You'll be thinking, "Oh, this is amazing! I've built momentum, I've built consistency," and at the first sign of failure, you tend to give up or at least relapse towards preparation, contemplation, or one of the previous stages because you don't understand um, that you are not yet in maintenance, that failure is part of the full process. And because you built up so much momentum and because you built up so much consistency, you'll have set unrealistic expectations. Obviously, it's my job to make sure that you know exactly what you should be working towards short term and long term, so those expectations aren't too high and they're also not too low. Maintenance. Once you have been exercising regularly for 6 months or more, you're considered to be at the maintenance stage. And this doesn't have to be in regards to exercise, it could be with regards to any other behavior like meal prepping and dieting, whatever it may be, whatever behavior it is. If you are performing it for 6 months or longer, you are considered to be at the maintenance stage. And that is a stage that we are ultimately aiming for. The arrow down the side here signifies relapse. Just as it is possible to go through this model from pre-contemplation to maintenance, it's also possible to relapse and go in the opposite direction. And relapse is not a bad thing at all. It is literally just taking a step back and hopefully again moving back to towards maintenance where you should be or where you want to be. So be ready for change. You cannot expect change to occur on its own. You may have already found this out by now. So look at your environment. Is your environment set up for success? That support system that we've just talked about. Tell close friends and family about your goals. They will hold you accountable and support you throughout your journey. And again, I can't stress how important it is to have people around you and build a community of people that just keep at you, and keep you on track, hold you accountable, not just me, not just you, but everybody else that you live with, everybody else that you meet on a daily basis. For example, colleagues, get them involved as well. Understand what is needed. Understand that change takes multiple things. Those prerequisites that we talked about at the very start are a bare minimum. You need them. Time, practice, detail, and most importantly, failure is needed. It's honestly needed. That's why relapse in that stage of change model is not a bad thing. Taking a step back and going backwards helps you understand what it takes and what is needed for you to get to maintenance and hold this behavior, keep this behavior. Be proactive. An idea should always be followed by a plan. Whether it be, I'm going to go out to the gym tonight, okay, I'm going to pack my bag. I'm going to make sure that there's going to be no interruptions whilst I'm there. I'm going to make sure that my work schedule is clear at 7 p.m. But plan for it. Don't just say, I'm going to go to the gym on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Make sure that you think of what could go wrong at the worst of times. Because if you know what's going to go wrong at the worst of times, it'll make life a lot easier. You can plan for it, you prepare for it, so that you will get to the gym or you will plan your meals no matter what happens and take action. None of the above is any use without taking action. Be a doer, not a dreamer. So, as much as I've talked here about being proactive, understanding, looking at your environment, you have to do it. There is no point thinking, yeah, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it in a couple of weeks' time. Go and put this plan into action. Take action as soon as you can. As soon as you take that action, you'll understand A, how tough it could be to make this change, or B, how easy it is in some ways to make the change. Either way, you're building momentum, you're building consistency, but take action and do it now. There you go, very quickly. Are you ready for change? Prerequisites, those 4 are needed in order for you to make progress towards the goal. Any goal, doesn't matter whether you're losing body fat, building muscle, or in your career. Those prerequisites are needed for any sort of behavior change. The stages of change model we quickly look through, and then different ways of how you can prepare to change. So we're in week 3. You already have a good idea of how tough this whole process may be, or how easy it could be in different aspects. So some of it might be easy, some of it might be tough. But this mindset, again, needs to be looked at and understood as much as possible. But there you go. Are you ready for change? Simple as that. I'll talk to you in the next video.